Of James Huff, the 63 of Paul Vanderpool. The lights are out, the lineup's right, the green flag is in the air, folks. Here we go. It is showtime. Savannah Lovell getting a tough shake there for the 155 of Don Burton. A little touch right there on the start. Chops the corner. Savannah still trying to get back in the gas and finally able to get a little traction down there in the bottom line, but race right now, battle for the lead. Within this first lap, Don Burton, the 155. Here comes the 63 of Vanderpool with a run on a turn 4. Don Burton a little rough on the 63 of Vanderpool as well. And Vanderpool doesn't return the favor, stays in the brakes, and off of the 155 of Burton. Vanderpool looking to the outside, gets in the gas early, car rotates almost side by side. We always do say that action is the attraction here at Golden Triangle Raceway Park, and that is going to be the case right here within our first race. Flagman Ouchie Tanner picks up the black flag to give him a little, hey, 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 you can't do that. Looking there in the 63 to the inside of Burton is Vanderpool once again. Vanderpool trying to get a little bit of advantage into the corner. He's going to set up for the bottom. All right, we're just going to leave that on. They're trying to settle things out on their own. Paul Vanderpool has a lot of experience in these race cars. As we all know, he has more laps in a car than a 16-year-old would have miles. And a car getting their driver's permit for however many months they have to drive. At any rate, that's kind of not important. But what is important right now is Paul Vanderpool starting to stretch the gap between he and the 155 of Don Burton, and on the chase, the 83 of Savannah Lovell. Lovell starting to find her stride within this heat race, and a little mistake there on the exit of turn 2. Factory stocks have been running towards the end of the running order. We've changed it up a little bit. That way, can't get a little too predictable and consistent with what you expect, because you know what? You got to shake the thing up every now and then. James Huff pulls to the infield as the white flag waves. Don Burton trying to reel back in the 63 of Paul Vanderpool. They were side by side, touch and go for a good while, but you know, it kind of looks to me that Vanderpool was the much faster car and was just trying to get around and was hung up. But taking the checkered flag, and that is all that matters right now until they have the discussion later. Paul Vanderpool in the 63, picking up. Here we go, folks. It is showtime. We are green flag racing. Randy Lovell, Herring, and Castile all easy on the gas. Trying to not spin those tires. Throttle control is going to be important early on right now for these factory stocks. They're on asphalt pull-off slick tires. And you see Randy Lovell, he's not worried. He just slings that back end on around and makes that car rotate. And there he goes into turns 3 and 4 with a little mistake there as he almost crosses things up. And that's going to help out Herring a little bit. This is Herring's first race of 2018 after being affected out in Orange County by Hurricane Harvey. Cross flags here for Randy Lovell. And, you know, as we experienced in one way or another in Southeast Texas, whether your house, you know, got flooded or not, Harvey was still an inconvenience to us all here in Southeast Texas, because just because maybe your house wasn't affected by it. Friends and family were, and it's one of those kind of situations where it's good to finally kind of start having it behind you as you're, begin to move forward and moving forward. Randy Lovell continuing to stretch his legs here early on with 2 laps to go in that Trackside Motorsports 83. And as this track continues to change, these factory stock races are going to get a little bit more competitive, because Randy Lovell, Chad Herring, Savannah, Vanderpool, Burton, a lot of top cars right there. And once we get them all together for the feature, folks, it's going to be fun. And speaking of fun, he's going to go back to the trailer and celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, Randy Corndog Lovell picking up heat race number 2. And here we go. Vanderpool to the bottom. Side by side is Vanderpool along with Chad Herring. Chad Herring in the 21H. First race of 2018. Randy Lovell, well, let's just say this is not his first race of 2018. Side by side is Vanderpool and Herring. Herring to the inside, trying to get a good little advantage, trying to lock the bottom down as well, as this track has started to shift into a good dry slick. So we'll kind of see who the drivers are, test out that throttle control and setup. Herring looking for a way around Vanderpool in 1 and 2 and doesn't find one there. Savannah Lovell in the 83 entering turns 3 and 4, trying to work her way around, catching up to the 155 of Don Burton. Burton makes a mistake. Lovell gains a couple of links back to Don Burton. She graduated from high school last weekend, starting college in about 2 weeks, wasting no time, continuing that education, and she's going to continue to try to work on a setup here and the driving for this dry slick track. She gets crossed up a couple times there, scrubbing off a lot of speed. Scrubbing off speed there is Jeff Castile in the 30 with Don Burton in the 155. But back up front, folks, the 63 of Paul Vanderpool is barely holding on to the 21H of Chad Herring. Herring to the inside. Vanderpool with a run off the top. Side by side once again for the battle for the second place spot. Herring gets the brakes to stay off of Vanderpool on the exit of turn 4. So now Herring's just going to have to try to reel him back in. But nice and smooth is what it's going to take to get the job done, because Paul Vanderpool, he is always a very smooth and consistent driver, just as Randy Lovell. And Lovell with about a half a straight on the battle for the second place spot. Great move there by Herring to get it side by side with Vanderpool once again on the exit of turn 4. That outlaw chassis of the 21H is working nice for him so far here tonight. '66 of Tommy Montalero stays out of the line of Randy Lovell. Here we go, going into turns 3 and 4. Don Burton in the 155, scrub and paint with the 30 of Jeff Castile. Savannah Lovell in the 83, just kind of sitting tight, waiting to see how it shakes out. She gets right on the back of the 155 of Burton. And Lovell with the run tries to go around the outside, but that is the same time that Burton decides to kind of move up the lane. And Lovell with a good little run there once again. Back in striking distance, looking for an opportunity in turns 1 and 2. Burton with the advantage through the corner. Level to the inside of Burton once again through 3 and 4. She's like the bottom, and she's starting to get the hang of that low line of the racing surface. And turns, whoa, back up front. The battle for the second place spot has heated up yet again with 2 laps to go. Paul Vanderpool barely holding off the 21H of Herring. And Herring back to the bottom, side by side, off turn 4, but Vanderpool with a slight advantage into turns 1 and 2. Herring may have it here, not enough, because Vanderpool's got that extra momentum from the high line of the racing service as the white flag waves for Randy Lovell. James Huff in the 14 lap traffic stays to the high side. That allows the 21H of Chad Herring to get to the inside because Vanderpool couldn't run the high line all the way through. Checkered flag waving for Randy Lovell. Battle for the second place spot all the way down to the wire, and it's going to go to Paul Vanderpool at the stripe. "4C, Caleb Kroom setting the pace. Start speeding it up on the exit. They all stay together, folks, and here we are. It's showtime. Savannah Lovell with a great jump, puts that right rear towards the top of the cushion, going into the corner, gets on the gas, and leaves the boys of second and third in the dust. Trying to work her way up there. The 11 of Mallory Wishart trying to get through, side by side, touching Brad Wells in the 4C of Kroom. Wishart trying to hold on and does. We stay clean and green, but here comes the 15 of Charlie Watkins, peeking to the inside of the 7-7 of Brad Wells. Wells hugging the bottom, and there almost around is Charlie Watkins. Hang on, son. Don't go for a ride. He's got the elbows up and that steering wheel working. Maintains control of that red and yellow 15. But all of that sideways swinging door action allowed the 11 of Mallory Wishart to reel in. There goes loose again. Watkins. He doesn't have a lot of experience, folks, and that's why this is a rookie limited modified class. An opportunity for drivers that have not been in a race car before to jump in a car, and then after they're comfortable with it, or if they get 3 feature wins in this class, they have to move up with the big boys. And looking like she belongs with them, 83 of Savannah Lovell walked the stage, and she's out here walking the dog a half a track on second place. Side by side though, turns 3 and 4, Mallory Wishart and Watkins battling at it for the third place spot. Back down into turns 1 and 2. Mallory Wishart trying to find her way around. 15 goes around all on his own. Caleb Kroom in the 4C reeling in a little distance on the 11 of Wishart. Kroom was your pole sitter. Got shuffled to the back, and now he is within a couple lengths of your third place spot. Savannah Lovell working around lap traffic, trying to get past the 15 of Mr. Charlie Watkins. 2 laps to go in turns 3 and 4. Looking for the white flag and trying to get the checker. Trying to stay clean. Savannah looking to find a way around or just sit tight where she's at. 1 more lap and 4 more turns for the 83, the graduate. Savannah ain't got time for that Lovell. Lovell decides to not try to press her luck and just sit tight right there, and she does take your first rookie limited modified heat race. Rest through the night. And right now the 83E of Danny Estes with a nice quick pace, but everyone stays together side by side. Your front row rows when the green flag is in the air. 75 of Marcus Black rolls around the top. Doesn't jump in the gas too early. But in the gas early and looking for somewhere to go is the 198 of Blake Seals and the 83E of Danny Estes. Estes kind of getting a little squirrely there on the exit of turn 4, but keeps it off the wall. And the one who's a little squirrely is the 75, Marcus Black. He's excited. This is one of his first races of 2018, and he's a little giddy. I think we can all be safe to say he's a little giddy. I talked to him earlier, and he's excited to be out here. He works shift work, so when he gets to race, he is always happy to be here. And who else is happy to be here is that 83E Estes. He's had a couple good runs against the 198 of Blake Seals so far this season, and now he's looking for another one. Estes trying to peek down low, but doesn't get a good look. And checks up and hits the brakes. Seals kind of leaving the door open right there, and if Estes can get a good run, folks, here we go. Not enough. There it is. Estes peeks it in and goes side by side. They don't touch. They stay clean and green. Good driving there by your top two cars. He's looking for it once again. This is either going to be a make or break situation for Blake Seals and Danny Estes, because looking to capitalize is the 75 of Marcus Black. Touch and go. Here we go. And Marcus Black trying to peek to the inside with him as well. And Estes, he keeps doing the same thing, and Blake Seals doesn't adjust. Seals leaves the door wide open. Estes says, hey, thanks, I'll tip my hat and walk on through. 2 laps to go for Danny Estes. (22B) of Brittany Owens. This is her first year in the Rookie Limited Modified class, and she's just getting her feet wet, so she moves and stays out of the way. We do let her know through the receiver when the leaders are coming. And Marcus Black hung right there behind the 22B. Heat race number 2, the 83 of Danny Estes. Setting the pace, side by side, lineups right, stacked up tight. The green is in the air. Here we are. It's showtime. The pair of 83s lead them down into turns 1 and 2. Good move there by the 198 of Blake Seals. Brad Wells gets a little squirrely, holding on right there. Estes out front with Lovell, trying to play a little catch up and playing catch up as well as the 198 of Blake Seals. Blake Seals driving hard, trying to get into the mix here. Savannah Lovell, just the same mistake by Estes up top. Seals follows him, and Lovell right there in the middle. Estes giving it all he's got, driving that car like he stole it. Blake Seals on the 198 trying to find a way around, and who found his way around is the 75 of Marcus Black. He's worked his way up around Mallory Wishart in the number 11 with a half a straight between he and the third place spot, the fast driving 198 of Blake Seals. Estes out front, there. We've got a little pressure from the 83 of Lovell, and she's got pressure from the 198 of Blake Seals. Lap car Brittany Owens in the 22B could come into play here. She's going to stay to the bottom. And your leaders race on by. Lovell's trying to get the inside lane around Estes, and Seals is trying to get around the inside lane of Lovell. There's not much room to give. Going to the top is going to be Seals with a good run. Scrubs the wall a little bit. Gets into the right rear quarter, a little bit of sheet metal work for Savannah. Estes with a mistake, and Savannah Lovell side by side with Danny Estes. She sits tight right there on the bottom. Mistake on the exit gives Estes back the lead, as well as the 198 of Blake Seals. An opportunity for the outside pass. Seals side by side with Lovell, gets the run of turn number 2. And Savannah Lovell sticking to the bottom of the racing surface, gets it rotated around a little loose, and there goes by Blake Seals. Estes makes another mistake, and Estes in 198 of Seals collect on the exit of turns 1 and 2. Now that's going to draw in the 83 of Savannah Lovell, and around goes the 75. Getting the tractor tire is going to be Marcus Black. Maintains control of that race car. Back up front, looking to the inside is going to be Blake Seals. They may be rookies, but they're driving like veterans here tonight. This dry slick track is no match for them. Side by side, going back and forth. Estes with the lead. Savannah Lovell moves up a couple lanes off the bottom, gets a good run off that line, and draws back in the 198 of Blake Seals. Estes with a mistake. Estes and Seals touch and collect. Spinning it up, 2 laps to go right now. Savannah Lovell is trying to just sit tight, see what's going to happen as 198 of Blake Seals gets your race lead through turns 3 and 4. Here comes Owens once again, lap car, and on the brakes is everyone up front, as is Lovell, stuck behind the lap car. 198 and 83E touching and going. That one there was a little sketchy, almost could have been bad. Lovell goes to the inside. Graduate versus Graduate. Hardin Jefferson versus Vider. Here comes the 75 of Marcus Black, but the 83E of Danny Estes takes the checkered flag. 26 of Jacob Harris, Cody Swear, and then the 91 machine rounds out your field. Jake Kilma in the back. We've got the lineup right, stacked up tight. Green is in the air, and the throttle is down. It is showtime. Weibel with a good run into turns 1 and 2 with Harbert on his back bumper. Side by side is going to be Harris and Swear for just a moment. Swear looking to the bottom. Around the outside goes Jacob Harris. He's not afraid to go on the top shelf. You see that steering wheel just a working, touches that 17 of Robert Herbert. We'll see how they sort that one out in the pits. Jacob Harris driving this mini sprint like he does his sprint car, trying to get any little bit of run and momentum that he can. He's not afraid to go up there on the marbles, that is for sure. And now he's within 2 lengths of the 50 of Cody Swear. Swear's been pretty dominant so far in these non-sanctioned 600 races. And now we are side by side. There we go, folks. A little slide job on the entrance going into 1 and 2 in the crossover with Swear to the inside. Side by side, we go down the backstretch once again. Harris throws it in deep and makes it stick. Second place, all on his own. 26 in the Harris muffler and brake, Jacob Harris. But out front, though, folks, the 18 of David Weibel. This is his first time to run mini sprints this year, and he has been stellar since the first race. He's kind of found a groove, got a setup that works for him. And sometimes that's all it takes is a little bit of a setup tweak, and the instincts will come out and your driving skills will be there. With 2 laps to go, the 26J of Jacob Harris reeling in the 18 of David Weibel. Harris goes up high, crosses up, down low, side by side, white flag waving. Jacob Harris goes in wide open to turns 1 and 2 to take the race lead. In 3, can he hold on out of 4? Yes, he can. The 26 of Jacob Harris picking up the heat race win. Lights are out, green flag next time by Jacob Harris in the 26J, leading him out of turns 4. Here we go. The green is in the air and the throttle is down. It is showtime. Leading him in there is going to be Harris, followed by Weibel and Sweer. David Weibel went in really, really hard, almost kind of kicked her around. He told me during intermission that he's going to try to drive the car just a little bit harder, trying to mat it to the floor like Jacob. So far, it seems to be working for him right now as he's holding off the fast 50 of Cody Sweer. Sweer trying to find, excuse me there, my mistake. Sweer has found his way around. The 18 of Weibel driving it too hard is what cost him there, but you know what? He's not backing down. And who's not backing down is the 26J, your race leader in that Harris muffler and brake, blue and black, Jacob Harris. Running that right rear up there on the cushion. He has a couple IMCA Southern United Sprint Car Series 305 feature wins under his belt here so far in 2018, as well as had a good finish in the Challenger Drilling number 0 ASCS Sprint Car last time out here at GTRP. So he is, shall we say, hungry for a mini sprint win after this only being his second race in the mini sprint after getting it put together. And David Weibel beginning to reel in the 50 of Cody Sweer. Weibel has found a groove and it's been working. He's got a rhythm down. And that's one of the things it takes to be consistent with a great run off of turn number 2. 2 laps to go right now for your race leader, but the ones to watch is Cody Sweer and David Weibel. Weibel drives right around him on the outside. Sweer doesn't have anything for him. David Weibel has found his stride here tonight. White flag here for Jacob Harris. Out of turn number 2, down the backstretch into 3. His first mini sprint win of 2018 in the Harris muffler and brake 26J, Mr. Jacob Harris. Jordan Taylor, nice and slow pace. There's a lot of new drivers in this first heat race, so it's going to be nice and interesting as the green flag is in the air. Side by side is going to be Taylor and Chris for just a moment, but Dana Chris in the 9X works the way around. Here comes the 7 of Shane Jenkins trying to work his way up from the back of the field and already now up in 3rd place spot. Shane Jenkins does have a little experience in these mod lights, and he's going to hope that that's going to pay off here for him as Jordan Taylor. And that 0 is kind of struggling a little bit to the exit of the corners, but a little bit of that's just going to come with practice. Here comes Shane Jenkins to the inside of Taylor. Jenkins pushes up as well. Can't get the pass done there. Here we go back down the backstretch. In the gas hard is Jordan Taylor. Starting to find a groove right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to heat up front. Dana Chris in the 9X staying right around the bottom, and that seems to be a good line. Crosses up a little too much, but gets in the gas and doesn't let that speed that he lost mess things up. And there it is, side by side. Jordan Taylor and Dana Chris going into turns 1 and 2 with Shane Jenkins on the chase. Jenkins kind of looks to split 3 wide, checks up, changes his mind, and gets on the gas here, working around Chris going into turns 3 and 4. Side by side, Chris down the middle. Little 3 wide race in action here on the exit of turn 4. Shane Jenkins, Jordan Taylor. And there goes Taylor. Whoop! Spins her around on the exit of turn 2. Since this field is pretty much all rookies, we're going to give them a single file restart. And Shane Jenkins picking right back up where he left off before the caution flag came out. Getting back in the gas and trying to put some distance between he and second place, but that's going to stack things up a little bit with 2 laps to go. Dana Chris in the 9X and the 11 of Sarah Kettle. Kettle trying to learn the ropes in a mod light. And speaking of ropes, back was against the ropes, but trying to fight his way off the zero machine of Jordan Taylor. White flag waving, so it's not going to have a lot of time, but who has time is the 7 of Shane Jenkins. He's got all the time in the world right now because he is all on an island alone with nothing but his thoughts through turns 3 and 4, picking up. If he can hold on to it, goes a little wide on the exit of turn 4. Checkered flag for the number 7 of Shane Jenkins. And here we go. Green flag is in the air. Veach leads them down into turns 1 and 2. Hemler Hunter side by side for a moment with Dwayne Williams there in the second place spot. Top 3 cars are always fast, always putting on a good show as Willie Veach Jr. and chasing him down is the 3 of Taylor Hunter. Taylor Hunter gets on the brakes, stays off the back of Dwayne Williams, goes around on the inside as Williams hits the brakes through turns 1 and 2. Taylor Hunter trying to continue a great week, as just the other day he had an eagle when he was playing golf and he jumped in the pond by the green of that hole. Pretty fun little moment right there. Those are the little excitement things that you enjoy when you go play around a golf. I've yet to jump in a pond myself, but then again, I haven't eagled a hole, so I haven't had to jump in a pond out of excitement. But who's excited right now is the 41 of Willie Veach, as he is leading this one so far, looking to take cross flags next time by. But you can never count out Taylor Hunter and Dwayne Williams. Both Hunter and Williams working the high line of the racing surface, and you can see that number 3 getting a good run off the cushion after he gets the car set into the corner. He draws in a lot of ground on Willie Veach, but not that time. Mistake by Hunter, opening the door for the 40 of Dwayne Williams. Your top 3 cars all spaced out by about 3 to 4 car lengths apiece. With 2 laps to go, can Willie Veach hold on to this one? Robert Hemler, 14H lap traffic, gonna be a game changer here. It holds up the 3 of Taylor Hunter, and now the 40 of Dwayne Williams gets on the brakes as well. White flag waving for the 41 of Willie Veach. They both go to the inside of the 97 of Steinbricker. One more corner. Can he hold on, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, he can. The 41 of Willie Veach Jr. Front row staying together. Babbitt to the outside. Jumps at the same time that Downey does. And that's going to be just what he needed as Corey Babbitt leads him down into turns 1 and 2 with Downey right behind him and the 17 machine. Excuse me, that's a 57 machine. My mistake of Kevin Carl. Carl to the inside of Downey on the exit of turn 4. Thomas Downey driving the 401 Joker car owned by Dwayne Williams. Getting his feet wet in some Mod Light racing action here tonight, going up to the high line of the racing surface. And he's going to end the corners down low on the bottom side. Kevin Curl is sitting right now second in points only because he's tied with Shane Jenkins. So they're both tied at leader for the points. But one man that's not tied with anyone right now is that 12 of Corey Babbitt. He started outside pole, and there he went. Starting to reel in the back of the pack right here, 17. That's going to be Jeremy Jackson in that black and yellow. And Babbitt works his way around nice and smooth. Kerry Kramer there in the number 8. Staying down at the bottom racing surface. Kramer starting to get the hang of this Mod Light. She's been in Mod Lights and Dwarfs for a couple years, but a little timid. Well, that's okay because their power to weight ratio is pretty big. When you think about how much those cars weigh and how much power they have, it can be a little intimidating and trying to work underneath. Jeremy Jackson is the 401 of Thomas Downey. And down the backstretch into turns 3 we go. The number 12 staying up top and coming on down to the stripe. Ladies and gentlemen, the 12 of Mr. Corey Babbitt. It's a good pace with the 41 to his outside. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Jenkins, Babbitt, and Veach lead them into turns 1 and 2. Shane Jenkins looking to try and hike up that left front, but that's not going to put him anywhere. He's going to lose a little ground with that. Corey Babbitt to the inside. Side by sides, Babbitt and Willie Veach Jr. Babbitt with a little run from the bottom. And there goes Willie Veach with a run there. And the caution flag's going to come out for the 11 of Sarah Kettle. Battle heating up right now, the 3 of Taylor Hunter. And around goes 1 in turns 3 and 4, gets it to the infield. So Taylor Hunter there in the number 3 with the 40 of Dwayne Williams, but side by side is Babbitt and Willie Veach Jr. Do apologize, we're getting some type of feedback here from our speaker system. So we do apologize for that, working on sorting it out, seeing where we're getting the hum from. And there goes your race leader, working her way around the 151 machine. Working and slicing and dicing their way through lap traffic is Corey Babbitt and Willie Veach Jr. Trying to follow him is Dwayne Williams and Taylor Hunter. Veach got hung up behind Hemmler for a little bit, allowing a little bit of distance to get between he and Willie Veach. Caution flag comes out as the 97 goes around and turns 1 and 2. Your Dwarf Mod Light A-Main on the track right now. Babbitt sets them back underway on the exit of turn 4 after the restart. That's going to help out the 40 of Dwayne Williams in your third place spot, trying to reel in Willie Veach Jr. Right there up front, here comes Taylor Hunter, but Corey Babbitt still out front. Within striking distance is the Dwayne Williams. Williams to the inside of Willie Veach Jr. There goes a mistake by Veach Jr., and Dwayne Williams moves up to your second place spot. Babbitt hanging on right now up top. Your race leader staying on the high line of the racing surface. Here comes Taylor Hunter working to the heels of Willie Veach Jr. And Babbitt cuts down Dwayne Williams on the exit of turn 4. And there is searching Jordan Taylor and the number 0 just in front of your leaders. He does stay out of the way of Corey Babbitt there in the number 12. Willie Veach Jr. kind of slowing down off the pace just a touch. So right now it is all in the hands of Dwayne Williams to try to take it away from Corey Babbitt. Williams goes low, goes high, works his way around Himmler, now around the 17 machine of Jeremy Jackson. Your top 4 drivers are very experienced in these machines, so they know what they're doing. And they are showcasing that driving ability here right tonight. Going up, going down, slicing and dicing. Within now 5 to 6 lengths is going to be Dwayne Williams. We've got one around in turn 3 and 4 to bring out our second caution. Single file restart this time. Lineups right, stacked nose to tail, nice and tight. Corey Babbitt with a nice slow pace jumps. There we go. With the leader starting it, the rest of the guys just have to go when he jumps the gun, and there he went. Sets him with a good lead ahead of the 40 of Dwayne Williams back on the chase. It's going to help him out because lap cars are a little bit out of the way now. So they're more or less now just playing chase and not having to slice and dice through the field so much. But I'll tell you, that makes for great racing action. And here at Golden Triangle Raceway Park, action is the attraction. As Dwayne Williams within a couple lengths now of Corey Babbitt through turns 1 and 2. Williams looks down low, jumps back on the gas a little too soon. So he's trying to set up a different line to get around Babbitt. And now there it is once again, almost there side by side, 2 laps to go. Lap car may come into play. Babbitt works his way around, as does Williams. Looking for the white flag. Himmler and Williams touch a little bit. And white flag for Corey Babbitt out front. That contact in 3 and 4 with Himmler took Williams out of the contention for the lead, and here he is out of turn 4, Corey Babbitt. Are paying a guaranteed $550 to win. And $20 a lap in the feature. So this is going to be the thing to set it up right now. Your front row gets a good jump. Oh, and Jared Graves goes straight to the wall, and Howard Willis takes a risky move to dive out in front of him on the bottom, and it paid off. But we do stay clean and green through lap number 1. Howard Willis going to try to run the top along with The 18 of Weibel, but Willis gets a run off the top, cuts down the corner in the middle, and goes side by side with Weibel for just a moment there. Weibel now on the back bumper, the 71 of Chase Breezy. John Weibel has had a little string of bad luck lately this season, trying to shake the monkey off his back and get that streak going again. He had a pretty good winning streak last season in that Mid-County Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram 18, and you can see he's trying to find a way around the 71 of Chase Breezy, but that's going to do nothing but slow him down and open the door for the 23 of Howard Willis. Hung in the back, the 78 of Brad Ball, along with the 1X of Jeff Murphy, trying to get around Jared Graves in the 121. But up front, ladies and gentlemen, cross flags for your race leaders right now. We've got a three-way battle for the race lead and second place spot, as Weibel will be on the back of the 71. Then the 23 will be on the back of Weibel. Touch and go, ladies and gentlemen. They are staying off of each other right there. Mistake by Weibel. And once again, the door opens for Howard Willis. Weibel with a good recovery on the entrance of turns 1 and 2. And with a good run, there is going to be Howard Willis. Willis has the advantage on the bottom right now. Can he make it stick and get the run on the exit? No, he can't, but John Weibel will get a nose of an advantage down into turns 1 and 2 with 2 laps to go. Howard Willis peeking to the inside of Weibel once again. Down the backstretch we go, side by side. Weibel and Willis. Wide flag next time by Chase Breezy. Not worried about what's going on behind him, but there's a great battle going on behind him right now. John Weibel doing everything he can to hold off the always fast Howard Willis. And Willis just kind of stuck. He doesn't really have a good line, and he changes things up. He says, you know what, I'm just going to sit tight with third. Chase Breezy in the 71 picks up your first limited modified heat race win. Inside the 31T, driving for Gary King is Tracy Denby Jr. In the 5W, John O. Whittington, and there is the 17H of Dustin Hawkins. We send them green, and Dustin's just kind of hanging out here in the back. I guess he didn't know we were going green. And Dustin pulls off. So not sure what's going on with that car there, but back up front we go. A great battle. 3 fast cars, 3 fast drivers. John O. Whittington, first time out here for the 2018 season, throws it all the way in the marbles in turns 1 and 2. Tracy Denby and Tracy Denby Sr. battling at it here for the race lead. In the 31T is Denby Jr. on the brakes as Denby Sr. holding up the 5W of John O. Whittington. Whittington on the back bumper of Denby Sr. They all know each other. They've ran together for many, many years. So this is almost more or less of a grudge match between these 3 drivers here. And your second limited modified heat race up top, looking high side and handsome, is the 31T of Mr. Tracy Denby Jr. While Sr. trying to track down the son and trying to take him back to school, but I don't see that one happening right now, as Denby Jr. starting to put a little bit of distance between he and his father in the 22. But trying to get something going, though, is the 5W of John O. Whittington. Whittington's trying to find a little bit of cushion that's not there. It hasn't been built up just yet, but he's not giving up on trying it. Getting ready, Ouchie the flagman, Tanner spinning it up. 2 laps to go right now for Tracy Denby Jr. And that fast 31T owned by Gary King. Gary usually drives it in the rookie limited class, but giving Denby Jr. an opportunity to shoe it tonight here for the 550 to win. And it looks to be a good decision for him here as the white flag has waved. 2 more corners for the 31T of Tracy Denby Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, put it on together. Tracy Denby Jr. picking up your second heat race. 25 laps is the call. 550 guaranteed to win. The man, the myth, and the legend, Howard Willis, sets the pace. The green is in the air and the throttle is down. It is showtime. Chase Breezy side by side with the 23 of Howard Willis, as is John O'Whittington and Tracy Denby Sr. down the backstretch. Willis gets the low line. Here comes Denby Sr. chomping at the bit right around the bottom. We've got the 121 of Jared Graves bringing out our first caution. Trying it again. Here we go back. Green flag racing. We do stay clean and green through the restart lap with Howard Willis, Chase Breezy, John O'Whittington, Denby Sr., Denby Jr., and now we've got Brad Ball and John Weibel battling here, and Weibel gets the advantage into the 6th place spot. Another lap, another $20 to Howard Willis. $550 guaranteed to win. Sponsored by Brian Mack of the Brian Mack Farmers Agency and a lot of other 25 sponsors chipped in $20 for each lap, and Brad Ball tangles up with the 18 of John Weibel. They do stay clean and green. Sheet metal flying on the 78 of Brad Ball. Back up front, battle for the 2nd place spot. John O'Whittington trying to find a little lane here, pushing Chase Breezy down the front stretch, and they look a little tangled up, and they got off. So now we've got Chase Breezy in 2nd, John O'Whittington 5W, and Denby Jr. and Sr. side by side. Denby Jr. down low, Denby Sr. to the high side, while Howard Willis sits out front counting the laps and counting the $20 bonuses. Mistake by John O'Whittington, and Tracy Denby Sr. says, hello, I'll take 3rd. Great battle here for the 3rd and 4th place spots with Denby Sr., John O'Whittington, and Tracy Denby Jr. That 31T normally piloted by Gary King in the Rookie Limited Modified race. He's got Tracy Denby Jr. shoeing that machine here tonight. Looking down to the bottom of Whittington is Denby Jr. side by side for a moment, but Whittington with a good run. Whittington now to the inside of Tracy Denby Sr. Sr. with a run. Cross flags halfway home of this 25 lap A main. Slight mistake made by Whittington opens the door for Tracy Denby Jr., but Whittington has the momentum from the high line of the racing surface. Now once again, Denby Jr. inching it up side by side next to Whittington. Now Whittington drives the bottom, changes his lineup. And that opens the door for some opportunity. However, there's just a little crack in that door. Denby Jr. can't walk on through yet. He's trying to push it open with his foot. Slowly but surely, the door is unlocked. Howard Willis with a straightaway on the 71 of Chase Breezy. He so far has led every lap, so he's looking at the good $20 a lap bonus. Side by side once again is Whittington and Denby Jr. down the front stretch. Denby Jr. to the inside of Whittington. You can definitely tell that the track surface has changed as these drivers have adjusted their lines and now are running to the middle of the racing surface and the bottom. John O, for the majority of this race, was up top trying to find the cushion, and it was working for him, but the top looks to have gone away. Bottom lines of the racetrack are where it's going to be. John O. Whittington with a move around Tracy Denby Sr. for the third place spot. Mistake made by Denby Jr. on the exit of turn 4, and now Chase Breezy. Staying calm, cool, and collected while he's had Tracy Denby Sr. trying to work his way around, and now he's going to have his hands folded with the 5W of John O. Whittington, as Whittington starting to reel in, looks to the inside of Breezy. Breezy back on the gas with a good run on the exit of turn 2. Two laps to go for your race leader, the man, myth, and the legend, Howard Willis. Working his way past Brad Ball. Side by side is Whittington and Breezy. Earlier in the race, Whittington and Breezy got tangled up with their front and rear bumpers. White flag for Howard Willis. Willis around the lap car, looking good in turns 3. Ladies and gentlemen, out of turn 4, working it to the stripe, the man, myth, and the legend, Mr. Howard Willis. Machine's going to be your pole sitter, and that's going to be Scott Barber. He's actually leading in points into his outside the 83 of Randy Lovell. 911 of Nathan Renfro, and the 007 of Mr. Corey Neal. Lovell with a good jump off the front row. And Nathan Renfro in the 911 looks to the inside. Corey Neal with a great crossover from the back. Now Corey Neal in the 007 to the inside of the number 9 for the second place spot. And I tell you, he must have had that bass riff working, because he did a little James Bond sneakaroo there for the second place pass. And looking for another one is going to be the 911 of Nathan Renfro. Renfro trying to get it to stick, but can't make it work. Out front, calm, cool, and collected as always in that 41 shocks. Factory 41 chassis, Randy Lovell. Had a little jerk of the steering wheel there down the front stretch. Trying to stay off the wall. Car pushed a little bit, it looked like, to get him closer than what he wanted to be, because he moved that steering wheel mighty fast back towards the infield to get off that wall. And cross flags halfway home. Battle starting to heat up a little bit for the third place spot, but heating up right now is the Corey Neal 007. He's trying to get a little something going for him. He's trying to put the coals in that one and get it burning a little faster, but that doesn't seem to be the case right here. And Nathan Renfro in the 911 doing the same thing here, side by side with Scott Barber on the exit of turn 4. Renfro peeking down to the inside, can't get around him once again. 2 laps to go. Next time by for your race leaders. Nathan Renfro backs off the gas just a little bit to collect himself, and there he goes in way hard, and it gets on the back bumper of Scott Barber. Looked like he was maybe trying to do a little bump and run, or he tried a different line and got a bigger run than what he thought he did. That's going to do it for him right there. White flag for Randy Lovell and Nathan Renfro in the 911. Squeaks past to get your 3rd place spot, and Scott Barber just dumps him on the exit of turn 4.
Yellow. That's 3 on the track.
And there we go, Randy Lovell picking up your heat race win. Ahead of Randy Lovell. So here we go, side by side. Great start. Looking here as the green is in the air. Ron Brown and Baker side by side. Drag race into turns 1 and 2. Baker with the advantage and the run off the exit of turn 2. Stretching the legs early. Ron Brown, though, he is a fighter and lets that Camaro dig. So you can never count out the yellow banana, because sometimes it may be like when you're playing Mario Kart, you know, from back in the day, that yellow banana just gets thrown over your head and goes right up front. Well, that doesn't look to be the case right here, as Ron Brown seems to be fighting the setup here.
I care, somebody go help him in the back. Y'all go help him.
Baker staying up to the high side. Cross flags halfway home for him. He's got that car set up working right where he wants to be. Last race, the car was a little tight. He fought it in the heat race, fought it in the feature, but it looks to be working for him here tonight. Track is going to be good, dry, slick for a lot of these drivers, so we'll kind of see if the setup is going to be what's going to help them, because we haven't had a good dry, slick track out here very many times so far this season. So setup is going to be key moving into the features. 2 laps to go for the 33 out front. Craig Enderle on an island all on his own with Thomas Pepper behind him, sitting on a nice 3rd place spot. And Thomas Pepper in the 16 lap car could maybe come into play right here. We'll see what happens as the white flag comes out for Baker.
Y'all go help him, Baker in the back.
Baker on the brake, stays smooth through the bottom, gets around the lap car in turn 3. Through turn 4, ladies and gentlemen, on the exit, the 33 from Kuntz, Texas, Mr. Mason Baker. The 33 of Mason Baker. Side by side, Baker and Lovell, good friends off the racetrack and rivals on the dirt track. Green is in the air, folks. Here we go. It's showtime. Baker gets the lead through turns 1 and 2. Ron Brown in the 58, battling with the grudge match of the 007 of Corey Neal. Corey and Brown have had a lot of good trash talking on social media this season, and they are always putting on a good show right there between the 58 and the 007. But up front, the 83 of Randy Lovell having to reel in a car for a change. Both of those cars up front, very fast, always great competition between the two. That factory 41 chassis trying to catch up with a Wright's Racing chassis. Some adjustments to it from old Keith Wright. And these drivers are putting on a good one here, hitting their mark, staying consistent, staying smooth. Lovell trying to change the lineup, cross flags halfway home for the 33 of Mason Baker out of Kuntz, Texas. Ron Brown hitting his marks there on the exit of turn 4. Corey Neal Jr. in the 007. He's got a license to drive, but so far he doesn't have it here tonight. Lap car, Craig Enderly in the C1. Could be a difference maker here up front, may change the gap in the distance. Drumming it up, 2 laps to go. Lovell works his way around the C1 of Craig Enderly. Baker staying to the high line of the racing service through turns 1 and 2. He's got about 5 lengths on the 83 of Randy Corndog. Lovell. White flag waving, 1 more lap and 4 more turns for the 33 of Mason Baker. Hanging it up high side and handsome, blowing the dust off in turns 1 and 2. Down the backstretch we go. Can he hold on to this one, ladies and gentlemen? Heading it smoothly, slows and scrubs off speed. Checkered flag to the